Yes, guys, what's good? It's your boy Gurns from Mango Masala, Pi Radio's South Asian show, and I'm joined here today by the one and only HB. How are you doing?
How's it going, mate?
For those that might not know who you are or what you do, like what's your story basically? How have you come to be the HB that you are today?
And I mean, yeah, it's a great starting point. So yeah, I mean, most people, well, a lot of people won't know who I am. It's just my initials. HB is my initials. I've always been into hip hop from the age of 7. So I had cousins. Like you go through that stage where I think when you get to high school, people get more into hip hop and R&B. So
Mm.
I kind of had that prior because my cousins were about 6 years older than me. So, and I was around them a lot. So I got into hip hop when I was like 7 years old, which I probably shouldn't have been into hip hop and R&B at that age.
Mm.
But yeah, so I was into it from early. And then, yeah, I always knew that it played a big part in my life. Apparently, when I was like 3 years old, I used to entertain people, like guests that used to come around the house and like just sing to them, mainly like Punjabi songs. But that's apparently what I used to do. I didn't know that. But I was quite a shy kid generally, and then I started coming out my shell at high school, and then yeah, I mean, I went to uni and stuff, and it was when I went to uni, I was like, the thing for me, I preach this as well. I want to be famous, but not famous for the reasons that people might think. So, for instance, for the adulation and the free stuff you get and things like that. Obviously, that would be great. For me, my main goal in life is to provide advice to people because I think I give good advice. And the way you get to a larger audience is by being famous in this world. Like, for instance, if you work in an investment bank and you're the big dog in an investment bank, you might earn loads of money, but only people in that industry will hear your voice. Whereas I think if you're famous, you have such a larger capacity to speak to people. So yeah, I was at uni and I was at that 18. I was like, oh, I like obviously my football dream's gone now. Everyone has a football dream. So I was like, I can't do that anymore. And then I was like, what do I generally love? And I remember thinking, I was like, I used to get told off for always having my headphones in, like even when I was training in football. Um, and I was like, I generally love music and I love English. I was like, I think it was when Drake was just like came out. So it was like 2009 time. And I was like, yo, if someone who's from a slightly different background can break it, why can't I? So I just started writing some rhymes in my phone. And the thing is, you need to get a flow. I think people miss that a lot. You need to build a flow and build a technique. And that took a few years and to build up that confidence. And then, yeah, I released something when I was like 22, 23, my first song on SoundCloud. I started in that year after uni, I took it out to focus. I had a small business and I was like, I want to focus on my music as well. So yeah, I actually got to a stage where I met with a few small record labels in London, had a few discussions, and that was just based off SoundCloud. I was just recording in my room. Um, and I was like, okay, yeah, this could actually be a thing. And then I was like, okay, let's go for it. I moved to London for a finance job, but my main aim was always that. But you need to have money to live in wherever you if you move out from home. So
London.
yeah, you know how it is. But yeah, like yes, I moved down south, and then yeah, just been grinding. But like when you're in certain types of jobs, you have to do like extra qualifications. So last year was the first year I've not had to do an exam. So I was like, you know what, let's now go like on music, especially since lockdown. It's been amazing just to focus on yourself. Yeah, so I've been putting out more content and stuff. And like yeah, and I believe like I'll never say I'm like a great rapper. Like I don't think I'm the best rapper. I don't think I can't sing. Like I can't hold. Like, I can hold a note, but I can't sing. But I believe that my songwriting, I can go against anyone,
Mm.
and I think that's my biggest strength. And I think that's what's lacking a lot now in the market. So that's what I want to really bring.
So you talked a bit about moving to London. So in terms of before that, it's my understanding that you're originally from Burton on Trent. So do you want to tell us a bit about that? Because honestly, like I before like hearing about you, I'd heard of Burton on Trent, but it wasn't exactly like on the map. It's a bit kind of within the Midlands, it's kind of just a bit like
It's nowhere. It's nowhere, mate.
yeah.
It's no. I'll be honest. Like, yeah, so I was actually born like in Yorkshire, We moved there
Okay.
when I was like 7 or 8, um, for like family business. You know, like how Asians like to have family business. So we moved there for that. We didn't know anyone, but it's been really good. It's like I actually went. So I had such a unique upbringing. This is what I tried to bring to my music. So we moved into a state where it's a proper like rough area. Although we had a business there, so it's a bit different. My parents sort of kept me away from that, but I could still see everything, and I saw a lot of things happen which not many people see. But it was ironic because at that time, for a couple of years, I was actually going to a private school for 2 years. So I had like, it was so weird. Like my day life was spent in this where like footballers would take their kids and stuff. And then when I'd come back home, it was essentially like, I don't like using the word hood, but it was that kind of mentality. Like you saw things where, um, like you see on like movies and stuff. And but yeah, so it was, to be honest, I wouldn't give it up for anything because I think that's molded me as a person. I can now chat to anyone from any walk of life and have a conversation with them. But yeah, that is Burton's. The thing is, there's Burton is a small, it's a fairly big town, but it's a capital. It's apparently the brewing capital of the world. That's a that's a fun fact. But yeah, no, it's there's a lot of talent starting to come out. I think from my school, we've had a footballer, Kane Hemmings, who is playing in the Champions League for Rangers. We've had Fraser Clark, who's like Great Britain boxing now. Don't know if you've seen him around. He's hoping to get to Olympics this year. So like yeah, we've had a guy called Josh who does like theatre on Broadway and stuff. So we've had like so many success stories. Chefs who've took off, Instagram took off, and released books. So I believe there's something from our school. I don't know what it is, but we seem to breed some like positive like vibes and like yeah, see people exceed those expectations. And I just want to be another one of those and help really put our town on the map.
Oh, it's really nice to hear that because honestly, when we were planning this interview and I was going to ask you about Burton, I was kind of expecting your response to be like, oh, yeah, it's a bit like this. It wasn't that great. But to hear you actually talk about it with like almost a sense of pride is actually really nice.
I think everyone should do that. I think it's important to know where you come from and always like for me, I like to input it into my music. I think it's very good to go from personally there's two different types of artists. You can either do like the Tyler the Creator type where you create persona and everything is sort of imaginative, which is great as well. But there's also the other type where people are like you should be real and stuff. And I think I try to expose that side. I bring out more emotions when I'm chatting about things that I've done or experienced. So that's what I try to do.
So, moving on from that and coming on to your music, obviously the main reason for this interview today is because you've got your EP coming out relatively soon, which is going to be consisting of singles, and you've already put out two of them to date, I believe. So you put out the cut and also your fresh wave freestyle. So is it 4 tracks in total, the EP?
Yeah, so the reason why I do this, I think that's a really good point you brought up, is I really like we live in an age where it's instant. We consume everything instantly, and I think that unless you're a big artist, you're not going to have that. It's hard to get replay value from something that you've dedicated a few months to, could be like up to a year to. I've seen artists work on, like my friend who's just released an EP, Jester. He's a French artist and he's done 9 songs in there. He's been working on it for like 9 months, and he released it all at once. And people will listen to it for that weekend and maybe 1 or 2 songs after. But I was like, I want to keep consistency, and that's why I call it the consistency. So that was my whole plan last year. COVID messed it up slightly, but every 3 weeks I'm dropping a new song from the EP. So we have the next one dropping this Friday, and it's featuring a West London rapper called Young Valley, who's he's got some recognition as well, like from BBC Asian Network too. So yeah, we're dropping that, and then 3 weeks after we're dropping my final single on this, and then I'm already working on the next EP, which will be dropping literally 3 weeks after that.
Well, already on the next EP, though. That's pretty impressive.
It's consistent. You
Yeah.
got to stay consistent in this life, man.
With regards to when the fourth single comes out, will it be the fourth single comes out and then the whole EP is available as a unit, or will you not even release it as a unit? Like,
No, I might do. I have that option, but I don't think. I don't see the value in it, essentially, at the stage I'm at. I think if I was like, if I had more of a following, if I was like sort of getting more, I think then you see the value of that. I don't think personally I'm at that stage yet. I believe my quality is there. It's just about reaching, and I think that's the only thing I'm lacking really, is this, especially on the social media side. And that's why I've tried to be more consistent there, just gain a following, grow a fan base. And because I have people following me who I show them my music and they're like, oh, this is actually really good. Yeah, I'll follow you. But the thing is, it's getting that word out there.
Mm.
So now I've been trying to network and trying to, and that's why I was so grateful for when you guys reached out to me. I was, yeah, it was massive. Like, and that's why I was so excited just to have this interview as well. I've got a couple of interviews come up, but the way that, especially yourself, like you wrote that stuff about me, I was gobsmacked. That was amazing for me. So,
No worries. So going through your music in terms of the consistency EP, starting off with the cut, um, obviously I feel like that single is probably what has brought you the most attention so far in your career. I would say. I think like obviously that's the one that's kind of received like national airplay. Um, it's kind of like you just see it like popping up. Like I'd be in the car and like I'd hear it like just coming on the radio again. So do you want to just go into a bit about what the cut actually is? Is it meant to represent, or is it just kind of putting you on the map? Like, what's it about?
no, so like a lot of my music has always been about, it's either experiences or it's like where I'm looking to the future. And I'm a very ambitious guy. I think I sort of touched upon it before. And this is literally just about ambition. The whole thing is I want to make the cut. I don't want to be left behind. I want to be able to be like I always say, strive for perfection, and that will always bring out the best in you. No matter if you get there or not, obviously perfection is unattainable. So I want to win Grammys. I want to be like among the greats. Like, do you know what I mean? I want to break every record going. I might not get there, but if I have that mindset, it will push me. Um, so yeah, like the cut is basically about I want to do that. And then the thing is, I've never done a drill beat before. This is like a melodic drill beat, and I was like, I like drill beats, but I'm very selective with my beats. With any song of mine, like people say to me now, they're like, we can hear like a sound. Like every time you release a song, it's like, although it's not same beat, but you can hear a consistency in the sound. And it has to, when you feel like, I'm assuming you have it as well, when you feel music. So
Mm,
when I heard that beat, I was like, I felt it, and when I start writing, when I can start like doing a melody to it straight away, I know that I have to do something to that song. But when I start writing, I love including metaphors and stuff, and um, I love wordplay in general, and I love switching up flow. I used to do it too much, to be honest, but yeah, now I've started to control it a little bit more. But with this, because this beat was so easy to rap to, I was like, I have to make I want to showcase what I can do. So that's why I switched flow. Got I think about 8 or 9 times throughout the whole song, which not many people do nowadays, especially when you have your like people trying to copy like the drill like flow,
mm.
which is fine. It's I just want to stand out and I want to showcase what I can do.
Do you think like that what's it called? The like switching up a flow and like the level of motivation and determination, ambition that's in the track, do you think that's what has kind of elevated it to gain the recognition that it has got?
I think so, but also I think a lot of it comes down to the beat as well. Like Zell, I basically just contacted him on Instagram. I was like, "Yo, I really like this beat. I just need this beat." And we just got chatting, and yeah, so he gave me the beat, and I think it's mainly because it's a drill track and drills in. I think a lot of stuff now is to do with trend. If it's on trend, I was in a clubhouse room the other day where we were pitching to some one extra people, and I showed them a snippet of my last song, and they said, "Yeah, it's really good, but it's a bit mainstream." So I was like, I think that actually might be good then, because like if I've got this platform already, then to put out something that they could potentially play rather than, it's good to be different, but you need to be not too different, I think. To if depends what you want to do with your music. Stay true to your principles, but yeah, I think with me, it was, I think when I played, so I actually played at a gig. So I did a gig in October. I headlined my first gig ever, which is amazing. I can't believe I got to headline it. Um, and no one had heard that song because I'd literally recorded it on the Tuesday and my gig was on the Thursday. So I did like, it was rough, very rough at the time. And I played it at the gig right at the end. I was like, this is a new song coming out soon. I'm just working on it. And it got about 4 wheel ups. And that's when I knew. I was like, okay, people are feeling this. And I was like, and yeah, so on the back of obviously the success that it's had, and it's got me, I'm a BBC introducing artist now, and we're planning a video. We just need things to open up because with the way that we're planning it, yeah, we need to do it in a thing that isn't open yet. So when it's done, we're shooting it straight away. We've planned everything, storyboard it out because I think we need to build on the success of that single.
No, I'm looking forward to that because I'm already thinking, oh, what could it be like? The kind of video elements, the visuals, but
The thing is, with the guy who I work with, we love to do things differently.
mm,
We don't like to be the same. So the video's gonna be sick, trust me.
looking forward to that. Coming on to the next single, which is actually taken from your freestyle with DJ Limelight on Freshwave Sessions. So first of all, do you want to just tell me a bit about what it was actually like to do that freestyle in the first place?
Yeah, man. Like I saw him. Like I follow DJ Lamb. I follow a lot of DJs and stuff on Instagram, and he said to me, if anyone wants to try and get a session, let me know and I'll check you out, and then we'll talk about it. So I just reached out. I was like, I'm really into a session. He's like, oh, let me check out your music. He's like, all right, cool. So I went to do it. Is it because I'm based in East London, so it's quite easy for me to get there. And yeah, went there and yeah, it was this so that song I've had for ages. I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna put it out. I've literally wrote it about 3 years ago, but yeah, I found a beat to it, and I was like, you know what, let's just do this. If it's like a free, because I don't really do much freestyle stuff. Um, like I said, I'm a songwriter, so I was like, yeah, let's just do it. And I really enjoyed doing it. And it got a good reception. Yeah, like I said, if I had a wider following, I think it would have done a lot better and initially as well. But like there was only positive comments on it, so I was like, oh, that's sick. Like for me, just to get, it's always good. I like constructive criticism as well, but if people are feeling it, like yeah, man, like I was like, yeah, I've got to put it out, so I'll put it as part of the consistency.
So coming on to the next tracks, um, the track that's coming out this Friday,
So it's called Getaway.
Getaway. So
Yeah.
what kind of composition can we expect for Getaway? Because obviously, like I said, you got the drill beat for the cut. The freeway freestyle is a bit more like, I'd say, like maybe modern hip hop style. Like,
Yeah.
so what can we expect for Getaway?
So Getaway, it's a funny story. Like I found this beat on YouTube and we wrote basically I was like to Valley, I was like, bro, I found this beat, just smash it out. And the thing is it like sometimes it takes quite long for people to write and stuff, so that's fine. But this beat had been sitting on YouTube, not been bought for about a year and a half. So I was like, all right, cool. And as soon as Valley gave me his thing, I was like, all right, cool, let me go buy the beat now. And it was sold. And I was like, oh my God, like this is so annoying because I've got this sick verse from Valley and I've written my stuff.
Mm.
So I went to the studio, I was like, to my producer and my engineer, I was like, bro, we need to make a beat. We need to either remake this or just make a new one. So we kind of made a new one and it was built on like almost like Afrobeat style. So it's a lot slower. And yeah, it's more of a sort of a vibe, like a summer vibe sort of thing. I like to be as versatile as I can. But yeah, it's Valley just kills it, man. Like that guy is so smooth on the mic. So he comes in and absolutely smashes it. But yeah, I think people will like it.
So how did you come to know that you wanted to work with him? Did you know him beforehand, or did you see his music and then reach out?
Yeah, so basically I like I said, as soon as I literally finished my exams in end of 2019, the first thing I did was like try and get more active on Insta. I started like looking at loads of people and there's I think Harp's Core and a guy called Prash, they used to well they still do obviously, but COVID has messed it up. They host like an event for like urban South Asian artists. Um and I looked at it and I was like looking at a few of the artists who performed, and two of the ones who I really liked, I just reached out to. I was like, I really like your music. I do music too, blah blah. And I've just been just conversating with them, just been following their steps. And I was like, I like people as well. I think you have to have the right vibe with someone, and he
Mhm.
just seems like a nice dude. And I was like, he has like an effortless flow. Um, so I said we're going to work on something soon. As soon as I find something that I think is good. So I think yeah, we've planned this in September time. So but yeah, like we finished it up. I finished it up just before the December lockdown. But yeah, like yeah, that's I just reached out to him on Insta. I think networking is the most important thing nowadays. So
Especially in COVID as well, you've got the tool of people are expecting you to reach out over social media or over the internet. There's not that like expectation that, oh, they can come and find me in person if they want to, because obviously you can't do that at the moment. So it kind of is like people are having to like look at their emails, look at their DMs, that sort of thing.
no, like yeah, I think there are pros and cons to it because I'd personally love to like I'd love to have like come up to like Manchester and like met you guys. Because the thing is, well, I'm a United fan as well, so like Manchester, I got a big heart in Manchester. So, but but yeah, so like I think in person it's so much better. You just get more of a vibe for someone. But yeah, like you said, you can do a lot more now from just like sitting at home, sort of thing, and sort of that time that you would take to travel, for instance, now can be converted into something else.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that you're right. You're right in terms of you can only really get a vibe in person. But for someone like me, I'm a bit more like on the shy side. So if I'm being honest, it kind of has been like a blessing in disguise in terms of like not having to do it in person, because I used to work in a music distribution for a bit, and that involved a lot of like networking events where it'd be loads of people congregated in um a foyer or something, and they'd all just be in their little bubbles, and you're meant to kind of like go in and just randomly join the conversation, just start talking. And like I'm fine, like once I've started a conversation, like I can hold it, like it's fine. It was more like the having you have to like
The
interject into
initial,
actual people, and
yeah.
like just this like start like join the conversation without butting in, and like that was just like foreign to me. Like it's so much easier to just go online and you can just like literally send someone an email and that's like done.
No,
Like
no, I do agree. Like I'm quite good at just doing that stuff though, like generally. I mean, it's sometimes I do look in a room. Like I've been in like, you know, when they have, I don't know if you've, because obviously you've had completely different job experiences to me, but I've had job experiences where they'll have like new joiners all in like a massive room.
icebreaker type things.
I kind of, and then obviously people all automatically just go into small groups, and then you're like, right, which group do I have to
Yeah.
try and join? So I do completely understand.
No, no, getting back to the music. Obviously you got a final single after Getaway. Um have you like released the name for that yet, or is that still like
Yeah, it's so it's called Calling, and
cool?
I personally believe it's the best one on the thing. Um, Obviously that's up to the thing is, as an artist, you always like things that don't do as well. So
Okay.
I don't know why that is. Like if you ask, like I've listened to so many interviews of big hip hop artists, and they're always like they asked Kanye, oh, what's the best song on like Pablo, I think it was, and he was like, I really like this one or whatever, and everyone's like, oh, that's interesting because that wasn't like a big song. And they asked like Drake, what was your favorite one, like Take Care, and it was like the ones that didn't do as well or like Nothing Was the Same. It's like I think it's like one of the like number five and Nothing Was the Same, which I thought was all right, but no, everyone just like went past it.
Mhm.
So it's so weird. For me, I believe Calling is yeah, I literally, yeah, I mean, I was in the studio before lockdown, and I just need to get in like next week now, just obviously when the restrictions are slightly lifted, and just finish it off. But yeah, for me, I think it's the best one I've got. So,
And what type of like style are we going for on it?
um, honestly, it's a weird beat. It's a hip hop beat, but it's like it's got a like a guitar kind of sample in it.
Mm.
It's honestly the beat is amazing. Like I don't know, I can't describe it. It's unique. And like I played it on the Clubhouse thing, like a snippet of it, and they were like, yeah, this is sick. And I was like, all right, cool, that's good.
No, like I'm looking forward to that. And do you know like when that's going to be released? Is it like 3 weeks after?
So literally, so we've got the 12th now, so it'll be like early April or start or end of March, basically. End of March,
Cool.
start early April.
Moving away from consistency and talking more about your life in general. Talked a bit about being involved in finance. Um, I know you wanted to talk a bit about the sort of like shifting perspective of how South Asians kind of view the idea of going down a career path in music compared to perhaps previous generations. So how has it been for you pursuing a career in music? And do you think it's sort of been eased almost by the idea of like, oh, but he's also got this career in finance, so you know what I mean? Or do you feel like there is like shifting perspectives and it is a lot more welcome, the idea that you'd be doing music?
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic point to touch on because so I'm slightly older, like so
Yeah,
I've
I
literally
say I was surprised by that way. I saw your birthday post and I was like, wait, what?
the thing is I actually look younger, which I'm blessed because I think I like to just take care of my skin and stuff like that. But I think just my lingo and stuff, and I like to keep in the know about music. I think that keeps you young. You'll probably attest to some things like that. Like you'll be in touch with people who are like 14, 15 just through music. Um, but yeah, no, I think so with me, like when I was going to uni, I think social media was just starting to pop off. So the year I went to uni a year after YouTube started, and I
Where
think
did you go to uni? Sorry.
I went to Newcastle.
Okay.
And I think that at that point, people, if you like, for instance, I always look at, so I've started watching more YouTube now since lockdown, and I look at like the Sidemen. So I've been like watching their videos and just like looking at when they started. They did a video, and I was like, so KSI started like in 2009 or something. That's when I went to uni, but he was in a position in his life where he was like in high school where you have, I think, less responsibilities because you're not got exams coming, like important exams coming up. And I think people were just like, oh, you know what, I've got free time, let's just do this. Whereas I was in that stage where I was doing A levels, where like you have to be focused. I was my second year in A levels, and I was like, I'm going to uni. And I think the other pressure is that I did quite well in school when I was younger, and me and my brother are completely different people. And I think that I was of the sort of thing that my parents always thought that, oh yeah, he'll go and get a good degree and then go into like a really good job, um, like sort of like, you know what I mean, sort of thing. And I think you know how like Asians like society works. M- My parents are super chill, which has helped a lot to be honest, compared to most families I know. So initially, I know my dad was like, he was like, just get a job, and I was like, yeah, but I want to focus a little bit on music. He's like, yeah, just focus on your degree. I was like, all right, cool. So I focused on my degree. And when I came back, like I actually started a business when I was at uni. Um, so I took a year out to try and focus on that business and also do music. Um, so yeah, I was doing that. And then when I started getting like record labels contacting me, my dad was always still like, my mum was always sort of supported me, but I think she always thought it was just a hobby.
Mm.
But I never really said like it's what I want to do because I don't think maybe I was confident enough, or but I was like, I know I need to get to London and they want me to settle. Asian things have this thing about settling. They always want you to be settled.
Mm.
Um, and I was like, I would be dumb as well not to take advantage of the brain I have. So I did like a degree in maths. Like I got a master's in maths. So I was like, I should I should take advantage of it where I can. And this can provide me with money to pump into my music. So that's literally what it was. I was like, okay, let me get a half decent job. And then with my extra money, um, I don't really care. Like I know people have that thing where they want to save for a house and stuff. I'm not of that mentality. I'm like, I'm going to be a millionaire and then I'll buy a house, rather than I'm just going to save. So I was like, let me utilize it now in different ideas. I've got my music as well. Let me just pump it into there. So that's that. Yeah, and and even until recently, like my mum was like, especially when I got played on Radio One, she was like, oh, this is actually a thing. Like, and my dad's still like, yeah, mate, like just focus on music. Where's your wife? Like, why have you not got like a long-term girlfriend that you're gonna propose to, sort of thing? And I was just like, man, I've got more things to focus on. Like, and yeah, I mean, I think until you make it, it's like anything. Until you start getting money from it, for instance, they won't see it seriously in that sense.
I feel like even after that, or even if you were a like um mainstream artist who's getting attention all the time, radio play all the time. I still think it's the fact that there's a lack of understanding as to what that actually is. So even if you were in that position, I still think they'd be a bit like, oh, but like, what do you do? Like, you know what I mean?
I think, to be honest, I think it's more to do with money. I think
Mm,
they associate like being an accountant, for instance, that brings money. They're like, that's a stable job that will bring you decent money and you'll be able to afford a house and stuff like that and provide for a family. Now, I wanted to discuss this because I've got cousins who are younger than me, who are like sort of my brother's generation, a bit lower. And I've noticed that, so one of them's like turned 18 or 19 in last year. And he just said to his parents, I don't want it. Like, he was privately school educated and he just went, I don't want to go to uni because I've got this business idea that I want to start with my friend. And their parents were cool with it. Now, I think if I did that, when my parents, like just even 10 years ago, my parents would be like, no, you're going to uni. And I think it's because they've seen social media, people from social media being able to have successful careers. Social media has such an impact on our lives. And like even influencers, like one thing I don't like is when people put down influencers, because I believe that everyone should be able to have an equal chance at a hustle in life. And if you don't have the brain, like which some people obviously are more blessed with, like people who do like high degrees and like be doctors and stuff, some people aren't blessed with that, but they might be blessed in other areas. And social media has given that platform for them to do that. And if they're consistent with it, there should be no problem with it. Like I don't see I don't really like people looking down upon what someone's doing to get money. If someone's okay with the principles and their morals are all in, they're okay with the morals and they're not going against their own morals, I believe you should be able to, within reason, like do whatever you want, as long as obviously it's not illegal. Um, and yeah, if that's a hustle, you're essentially doing it for a reason to get money to hopefully provide for a family later down the line. So I believe everyone should have an equal chance of that.
yeah, I think with the influences, it comes down to when you talk about morals. I think the main thing is just it's hard because you don't want to censor people, but then you also there is this problem, and it goes along with social media, um, this idea of mass following, influence, etc., false perceptions of stuff. So
Yeah,
like these young girls may see um influencers that are manipulating their photos or saying, oh, I
yeah,
tried this diet and it made me lose this much weight, and they'll think, oh, they'll even go and try that diet, and then when shock it doesn't actually work, they'll be like, oh, but why is it not working? You know what I mean? It's kind of like that's like the dark side of it. I think that's
yeah.
where
That's the
influencers
bit
need
I
to be
don't
held
condone. Yeah.
account. Yeah.
No, I think that's a massive part of it. I think, like I said, as long as it's true to your morals and you're not doing anything wrong, like within reason, I just think it just provides a platform for people to perform, um, and show off what they have. Like even if it's just a good-looking person, like they might have what people would assess to be like not being smart, not being driven or anything like that. But if they're good looking, they could literally post a photo and who knows, blow up, and then they'll start earning money from Instagram.
Mm.
And fair play, man. Like we shouldn't look down on people. People have brains. No, you don't see the beautiful people. Like, well, no, you do sometimes. Like, obviously, they'll get jealous of people who are really brainy. You don't know that, and then the brainy people look down and be like, oh, look, but they're beautiful. So, like, do you know what I mean? Just make the most of what you have, but just make sure you do it properly.
So talking about like hustles, I know you said you got your own clothing line that you're working on as well. So you wanted to tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, man. Honestly, right. First, I want to put this out there. I don't have any idols or anything in life, but the closest thing I have to an idol, this controversial, is Kanye West.
I knew you know what, I knew you were gonna say that when it comes to like fashion and music. I was like, yeah, this is like, yeah.
No, I love like architecture and interior design as well. And he look and like the way, obviously, I'm not condoning everything he's done and stuff, but I love his passion for stuff and the way he's been able to see it through. And that's what I want to do. Like I love fashion, for instance. So we're working on started the idea actually before COVID, but then I got busy and then I've just picked it up again, been in contact, put together like all the materials and pitched it and things. So yeah, we're working on a clothing line. So the brand basically I've been calling that a brand name since I started music called So Next Year. And that is the brand that I want to encompass everything under. So yeah, so next year it's the brand, and yeah, I'm really excited to release it. It's essentially we're not looking for profits. We're literally looking for creating some quality and also like sustainability. We were really, because I know that's a big part of our world right now, and we want to build on that. But yeah, I'm really excited for it, to be honest. Yeah.
Sure. So you're saying like maybe next year we can look forward to that?
I'm planning like later this year.
Okay.
I've got everything in the works already, so yeah, we're just sorting out finer details. So
And is it any particular garment in general, or is it just everything?
so I mean, I love hoodies. So as you can tell, we're starting with a hoodie. But it's just I just has to have the quality. Like I'm looking basically I want it to be like like luxury ones, like designer ones, like that kind of feel. But obviously not. I'm trying to go at a lot lower price point, because I mean they look for profits. I'm not looking for profits. I just want to create something that hopefully is going to create a culture and proper sort of symbolize our brand. And
Sure.
I want to cement our brand in the middle of the urban sort of society.
Sure. No, I look forward to like seeing like what those look like, and maybe copying one and seeing like the what's it called, the quality that you're talking about. Like
Mate,
definitely.
honestly, it's going to be sick, trust me.
So coming on to other like hustles, I understand you also have like a podcast of your own, like you've like started quite recently, right? In the Dime Drop.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So like I said, my main aim is music is my main passion, always will be. I want to be the biggest music artist ever, but I also have a lot of ventures that I also want to go into. And the thing is, the main reason, like I mentioned before, was I want to have a voice. That's the reason for getting famous, and to provide advice. And I was like, you know what? I'm not getting any younger. So let me just start giving this advice now. So I was like, and I saw loads of people do podcasts, and I was like, well, I've already got a mic. I've got like, because obviously I used to record at home. So I was like, I've got all the equipment anyway. I was
Mhm.
like, I might as well just do it. I was actually waiting. I know it sounds really dumb, but because I basically do it on YouTube as well, so I do a video side as well. And I've always had a really bad camera, like a phone as well. Like I had iPhone 7, which is like awful.
Yeah.
And so I was like, let me buy. I was waiting to buy the new iPhone. So like, I bought the new iPhone, so I've got that now. So as soon as I got that, I was like, okay, cool. Now we can go. So yeah, that was one reason why I delayed it a little bit. I know it sounds dumb, but I just wanted it
No,
to
yeah, it
look
makes
as good
sense.
as I can make it without spending too much money.
Mhm.
But yeah, like, so we're dropping one tomorrow. I'm gonna record it today. Gonna edit it tonight.
Mhm.
And yeah, like I give advice on everything, man. I have a lot of different interests, and I just want to help people try and gain a more objective advice. And something I like to go a lot left with my views. So I just want to show people a different perspective, not from this herd mentality that we seem to live in.
So that's the main focus of the podcast, is just general advice sort of
On
thing.
yeah, on loads of different topics, but we're also expanding it. So I'm bringing in a few mates when it's obviously restrictions lift. We're going to provide like top fives like every 3-4 weeks. And that's going to be a bit longer podcast. And I've always also started discussing with artists too. We want to get artists on to have like I call it like, have you seen Drink Champs?
No, I haven't, sorry.
So it's like they do YouTube as well. It's basically, Noriega. So he was a massive like rapper in the US. He had like one massive massive song with Pharrell in the early
Okay.
2000s. So he basically hosts it, and he gets like rappers on. But the way that he does it is that he basically just has loads of drinks there, and you just get drunk. But it's good dynamic, because obviously the drunker people get, the more open they get about sharing stuff.
Yeah.
And so we want to try and recreate that for the UK. Obviously not on that level, but yeah. So I've already got the guests lined up for that. And yeah, we just want to vibe with people, and like, yeah, just create an atmosphere, and also just for networking purposes too.
No, yeah, definitely. It all sounds like good. I think like with stuff like that, it's really good to have like the video element to it as well, because like I feel like I think still listening to people like getting a bit like tipsy and talking about stuff is still gonna be there. But actually, I find with my videos like thinking about like you say like Sidemen, like I think about videos and I just think about they did that like pub golf one, and it was
Yeah.
just them like just going from pub to pub, just getting progressively drunk, and I just found that is weird because literally all you're doing is basically just watching them get more and more drunk. But
Yeah,
I
I
just
know.
found it really entertaining. Like,
It's amazing what you could like almost, I wouldn't say waste time, but like
mm.
waste time on essentially like just watching some weird stuff. But yeah.
You've already said about Kanye being one of your main inspirations in terms of like just fashion, architecture, music, etc. Do you have any others?
So I'd say Drake, as much as I'm, you know what, I'm one of these people. I I almost feel embarrassed to say Drake,
Mm.
just
Yeah,
because.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
Did
like
you like?
yeah.
I don't know if when you started listening to Drake, but I started listening to him when So Far Gone dropped.
Mm,
Like initially, like I'm not talking about like when he dropped it like last year or whatever it was. So I started listening to him in like 2009, I think it was, and I heard him on a song with Lil Wayne. It was called Ransom, I think, remix. And I was like, who's this guy? Because I loved Lil Wayne. I was like, this guy sounds pretty good. So I did more research and he just dropped So Far Gone. I was like, oh, this guy's sick. So I was like a massive Drake fan. Like I've been to, apart from the first one, because my granddad passed away like on the day he I was meant to go to his first concert with J. Cole. So I couldn't go to that one. But since then I've seen him almost every time. I think every time he's been in the UK, I've gone to all his tours. But recently, I'll be honest, like he's got to that stage now where he's not. I don't feel he's trying anymore. So
mm,
I mean, I still rate what he's done and stuff, and I still think I still listen to like he dropped that Scary Hours 2 yesterday, and
mm.
I downloaded it and listened to it obviously. So yeah, I'd say Drake, but in terms of rap, like Jay-Z for me is like the best, most effortless rapper. And then like standard, you like your Kendricks, your J. Cole's and stuff. I love those. And then but yeah, the three that I would say it's definitely like Kanye, Drake, and Jay Z. That would be the three.
So listening to what you're saying there, it definitely seems to be that your inspirations are more um American, which I suppose is because it's more of that like authentic hip hop sound that you're looking towards. Rather than here, obviously we have like artists that have been around for time, but it's definitely a lot more it's not so much hip hop, it's more like grime or I wouldn't say drill because that's more recent, but garage, grime, that sort of thing.
No, I
Yeah.
do. I to be honest, I do love Grime and Garage. I
Mm.
did forget to mention Kano for
Okay.
me. That guy, insane. And with the new school, I'd say like Dave.
Mm,
I like Stormzy as well, but I feel like Stormzy's gone a bit too mainstream for me. But Dave,
mm.
J Hus is a vibe as well. But Kano for me, like until if I turn old school, Kano's like the and Gets Kano and Gets.
So talking a bit about like the current UK scene, obviously that track came out put out by Cooley, which was in aid of the farmers' protests. Um and I know I was watching that and I remember just seeing it come out and I was just like, oh, what's this? And like just watched it. I had to watch it again because it was like so like powerful with the visuals and the music and everything. And it was just I always felt a bit emotional after watching it because it was just the idea of the British the British Asian scene coming together with the overarching British rap scene coming together with the um coming together with the Indian farmers, like literally all coming together. Like I don't know, what how did you feel after seeing that?
So the thing is, I think, and this is going to sound like it's almost like a sad point, but you know when someone comes from a different culture and they put shine on like a different culture,
Mm,
I feel like that gives it more audience. I mean that's naturally true, but it gives it more of people listen to it more and people feel like they can relate to it more. I feel that's what's happened with this track. So they've got, like you mentioned, like like the overarching sort of urban scene to get involved, and obviously there it's predominantly not Asian. So I think by getting a different culture who they like, some of them artists have big followings and big standings in the game already. So I think that by doing that, it's shone more of a light on what's really happening in India.
mm,
and it's sad that that it takes that, because I think that, for instance, if South Asian artists just did it, like you have your rack stars and things like that, if they did something similar without that, without the other sort of urban culture, and they had got, I don't know, like a Sidhu Musiala, like if he came onto it, I don't think it would have as much effect as it has had through this.
Mm.
Even though Sidhu's like probably got the biggest following of anyone out of those, but because he's already Indian, it just doesn't have that effect.
It's hard because like some people are like, oh, like why you over analyzing everything? Like, oh, like just take what it is. But like, it's hard sometimes to not look at stuff and be like, well, you know. But like, I suppose like taking it at face value, it's definitely good because a lot of the people that would listen to say like J1, Thames, or them, they wouldn't necessarily um I just think that maybe they wouldn't like listen to the news all the time, or they wouldn't be as
Yeah.
interested in Indian politics, regardless of the scale of it. But when they hear them rapping about it, they're like, "Oh wait, I can actually like, I want to digest this. I can understand this, and like, I'm gonna go and like, you know what I mean?"
I appreciate, honestly, that's why I appreciate it so much when I watched it. I was like, this is, and it's a good song as well, to be honest. So like, but the message behind it is obviously the main thing. And yeah, I think bringing cultures together is, I mean, obviously we had the massive, obviously what happened last year, the Black Lives Matter movement, and we are growing towards that. I think there has been a lot of changes. I know people said, but what has it actually done? If you look at the states, some states have changed laws on the back of Black Lives Matter. And I think things like that is, I'm hoping that this, obviously, I'm not saying like this song is going to change whatever's happening in India, but I think it at least gives people that awareness of it. And I think that's the most important thing, because you don't know who that can reach out to. It could reach out to someone who's in a very big position who could maybe eventually have some sort of impact on what is happening out there.
What's your current thoughts in general on what's going on over there at the moment?
Like the thing is, when Modi came into power, anyway, there was a sort of a reservation from the Punjabi community, anyway, from like the party he represents and where he's from. So I think it was almost like a matter of time that something would happen like this, unfortunately. And the thing is, like, I've done a lot of research into it, but I'm nowhere near like an expert on it. So I can't give like views that are going to be like, do you know what I mean? Like, I can't chat as well as I can about music about it. Then, but I just think that there should, like, we have this fair trade thing in this country, as for instance, and I just think that by sort of really like getting rid of like sort of minimum prices and stuff, it's exploitation at the end of the day. And the thing is, I've been to India a few times. I know sort of what poverty is out there. Like, you know, I know it's bad. There's levels to everything. I always talk about levels, by the way, but there's levels to everything in life. Um, there is obviously there's poverty in this country, but when you go to India, it's a different level of poverty.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Like, yeah,
And
like
yeah,
we have poverty here, um, and it's horrible, it's bad, it shouldn't be, especially seeing as we're the sixth richest country in the world. It shouldn't be like that. But when you go to India and you see, like, we don't have slums here. I think that's the difference. We don't have like that slum level of poverty where, yeah,
that's the thing is like, and I think this could, like, if obviously if nothing comes of it, it could sort of go backwards in that sense in India, whereas obviously other countries are going forward in it. Um, and that's actually, if I do eventually get super super rich, one of the things I want to do is try and help out sort of anonymous. I don't want. The thing is, I don't like having my name associated with things like this, because I just think that things like where it's charity and stuff, I don't think you should have your name associated with things like that. I just feel, for me personally, it should be done just out of your own heart rather than trying to gain something from it. But I've got so many plans that I really want to do if I reach the levels of success that I really want to get to. Essentially, I just feel like I'm going to make loads of money, just give it away. But for a good cause. Like, but yeah, I want to help out. Obviously, India's close to my heart. I've been there a few times, and I really, that is my main aim in life. Give advice, do that, and then yeah, build a platform to hopefully just help as many people as I can.
On that note, coming to the end of the interview now, I just wanted to ask what's next in store for you. She talked a bit about it throughout the interview, the various projects you got upcoming, but I suppose focusing mainly on music. You're already working on the next EP. So what's the plan with that? Is it going to be the next? Is it going to be like a consistency too in terms of like putting out singles like separated again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're literally going for the same format. The thing, my plan is, so this is my plan. Every 3 weeks, like I mentioned, going to release a song from an EP. So over the year, it should equate to about 4 to 5 EPs. And that's my whole plan for the year. Now, in that, I also per EP, I want to make one video too. Because videos, I mean, as an independent artist, they're expensive to make if you want it a good quality. So I wish I could make one for every song, but obviously I can't. But yeah, so we are like I said, we've already got one in the pipeline for the cut. I've already planned one for the next EP, which song I've selected already, which I want to make. So yeah, that is the plan. And I need, the thing is, like, obviously what happened to me with the cut when I got the platform from BBC, it was amazing. But I'm very a what's next kind of guy. I always knew it was gonna die away eventually. So I was like, I need to now use this to propel. And since then, like, obviously you guys reached out to me and it was amazing. I've had other local shows where my singles have been played on, and it's been amazing, to be honest. But it's just about keeping that going. Like, when you have your down days, it's okay to have a down day, but just make sure you get back up on your horse when you're able to, and just don't help make that down day keep going down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you got to keep that like upwards trajectory. Basically, it's okay to
100%.
have
Like,
like a few blips, but you got to keep.
100%, man. The thing is, I mentioned, I'm over ambitious. That's my problem. But yeah, I want to be the biggest I can be, and I'll keep consistent with it. And now I'm in a place where, like I said, I'm exam free, so I can just focus on my music. And yeah, studio is my favorite place to go. So yeah, man, I'm just looking forward. Honestly, I've got so many ideas. Working with loads of different artists as well now. I've started collaborating. Like, this is my first collab that's coming out, but I've got so many collaborations coming out with um, up and coming artists. We're trying to. I've done songwriting for some big artists before, so I might try and reach into that directory as well. And now I've got a platform, I feel like I'm probably ready to do that. So yeah, I'm really excited for this year, man. Yeah, and hopefully, like, when the pandemic's over, I'd love to come, like, to Pi Radio and stuff and just check you guys out and see what it's like.
No, for sure. I
Um,
definitely would love to yeah, actually in this studio. Like, it's weird. Like it's just like COVID in it. Like, it's just
yeah, no.
literally it's impossible to plan anything at the moment. Like, you literally,
Oh no, I
like
know.
everyone's saying like, oh, June 21st, where you going, where you going. I'm just like why are we setting ourselves up to be disappointed? Like,
Mate, honestly, I can't. I literally, because I love partying. Like, so I can't wait to be in bars and, like, clubs to just, like, get drunk and dancing away. But I know that I don't know when that's gonna happen. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
we'll see, isn't it? Like on the date that we're recording this, schools are going back tomorrow, so we'll see what effect that has.
yeah, of course.
But yeah, thanks a lot for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. Do you want to just tell people out there where they can find you if they want to go listen to your music or a podcast or whatever?
Yeah, of course. I think I'm just on Instagram. That's, like, the only social media I really use. So my handle is at HB_5291. There you'll find links to my podcast, and my podcast is at Dime. That's DIME, and then it's Drop. That's DROPP. And yeah, and then my clothing, I'll put up the link later because we're not ready to. But I've got the handle sorted. I'm just
Sure.
wait. And then my website. Just go to my website, which is www.sonextyear.co.uk. You'll find all the information for me there, links to all my music. And yeah, man, we're, like, subscribe to mailing list, because yeah, I'm getting active. And I want everyone to be on this rise with me. And the thing is, I'll never forget anyone who has helped me. And I want to just be grateful and provide equal opportunities for everyone.
On that note, thanks a lot for joining me, and we'll speak to you later.
Thank you very much, mate.